Before streaming, before binge watching, before you could pause, rewind, or screenshot, there she was, Saturday morning. Bowl of cereal, cartoon on the tube, and suddenly something short-circuited in your brain that you couldn't quite explain to your parents. You just knew you needed to watch this show again tomorrow, and the day after that, and every single day after that. The 1980s was the golden age of the animated femme fatale. Artists working on tight schedules and tighter budgets somehow managed to create female characters so striking, so layered, and so unforgettable that they permanently lodged themselves into the developing brains of an entire generation. These were not accidents. They were deliberate, bold, sometimes shockingly ahead of their time, and the parents sitting across the room had absolutely no idea what was happening. We're counting down the top 10 hottest 80s cartoon babes that got you obsessed, from leather-clad villains to warrior princesses to female rock stars. Trust me, you're going to want to stay for this one. And fair warning, our number one pick? It's one you've never seen it coming. Number 10, Vanessa Warfield, Mask, 1985. Red hair, black catsuit, and the kind of cold competence that made you forget she was supposed to be the villain. Vanessa Warfield was Venom's most dangerous field operative in Mask, and she didn't waste a single scene. While the heroes were fumbling through their briefings, Vanessa had already figured out the plan, executed it flawlessly, and looked effortlessly stylish doing it. Her Manta motorcycle transformed into a high-speed jet, and she handled both like she was born for them. What set Vanessa apart from every other 80s cartoon villain was her total lack of apology. She didn't have a tragic backstory to justify her choices. She chose this life, she liked it, and she was really, really good at it. Did you know Vanessa's mask was called Whip and generated a force whip, which is about as subtle as a flashing neon sign, but the 80s had zero chill about that kind of thing. Half the kids watching Mask were cheering for the wrong side. You know exactly which half.
Too bad. All that trouble for nothing.
Number 9. Teela, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, 1983. In Eternia, the women didn't sit on the sidelines. They ran the operation. Teela was striking in a way that felt genuinely different. The white outfit, the Cobra staff, the athletic build that looked like it could actually do the things she did on screen. Teela wasn't decorative. She fought, she argued, and she usually won. Teela's original design concept gave her a snake-like headdress inspired by ancient Egyptian iconography. The final version toned it down, but that mythological energy stayed in every frame she was in. She was the first cartoon character who taught a whole generation that competence is attractive. The attitude wasn't despite the ability, it was because of it. And when she told He-Man he'd done something stupid, she was almost always right.
He did it! He did it! He did it!
Way to go!
Number 8. The Baroness, G.I. Joe, a real American hero, 1983. Let's be completely honest about this. The Baroness had no business being in a children's cartoon, and we are all incredibly grateful she was. Anastasia DeCobre, Cobra's intelligence officer and field commander, arrived on screen like someone borrowed her from a completely different genre of television. Dark hair, black leather uniform, large framed glasses that made her more intimidating rather than less, and an Eastern European accent that dripped with absolute contempt for everyone in the room. She was the enemy. She was the villain audiences were supposed to boo. Instead, half the room was rooting for her. The Baroness understood power as information and leverage, not brute force, and she wielded it with the kind of precision that made every hero on the show look like an amateur. In the original Marvel Comics run, the Baroness had a tragic backstory involving her brother's death that she blamed on the Joes, but the animated series stripped that away, leaving just pure, cold ambition. Somehow that made her even more magnetic. She gave an entire generation a preference for dangerous intelligence that they're still chasing today. No apologies.
Oh, this Romeo, how gallant!
Number 7. Taarna, Heavy Metal, 1981. Technically, Heavy Metal was a film. Technically, it was rated R. Technically, children were absolutely not supposed to be watching it. And yet, here we are. White hair, ancient warrior code, and a presence that didn't need dialogue to fill every frame she appeared in. She was the last of the Terrakians, summoned to face an evil that had already swallowed an entire civilization, and she showed up with a sword, a flying mount, and the absolute willingness to die for what was right. Her design borrowed from Frank Frazetta's legendary fantasy paintings and pushed them into animation with stunning results. She wasn't a superhero. She wasn't a spy with gadgets. She was a warrior in the oldest sense of the word, a person with a blade and a code. Taarna became so iconic during production that the filmmakers retooled the entire film's framing story to center around her. She started as one segment of many and ended up as the emotional soul of the whole movie. If you encountered Taarna at an impressionable age, she recalibrated something fundamental about what animated characters could look like and feel like. Number 6. Princess Allura, Voltron, Defender of the Universe, 1984. She started the series as the protected princess. She ended it piloting a giant robot lion into the middle of an alien war. That arc tells you everything you need to know. Princess Allura was the sole ruler of planet Eris, the last survivor of her royal family, and somehow also the person who kept everyone around her from completely falling apart. Her design was regal and graceful, long blue eyes, flowing hair, the bearing of someone carrying enormous responsibility without flinching. But what made Allura unforgettable was the moment she stopped watching from the sidelines and took the blue lion for herself. She trained, she showed up, she held the line when it needed holding. Voltron was adapted from the Japanese series Beast King Go Lion, which was actually significantly darker and more violent. Characters died permanently and the tone was much grimmer. The American localization softened the edges and added Allura's expanded role, making her more central to the team than her original counterpart. She also had the quiet, bone-deep dignity of someone living with unbearable grief without letting it stop her. That kind of strength hits differently. It always has.
Nanny, I was worried about you and all my people.
Number 5. Gadget Hackwrench, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, 1989. Yes, she is a mouse. Yes, an entire generation didn't care even slightly. Moving on. Gadget Hackwrench arrived in 1989 as the Rescue Rangers' inventor, mechanic, and pilot, a small, goggled, brilliant young woman who could build a functional aircraft from a matchbox and 3 rubber bands before the commercial break. She was cheerful, relentlessly capable, and operated with the kind of breezy confidence that comes from being the smartest person in every situation and being too focused on solving the problem to notice. The animators at Disney gave her a design that landed something pitch perfect. Overalls, goggles pushed up on her forehead, lavender fur, and earnest blue eyes. She looked exactly like what she was. Someone dressed for actual work, too busy building things to care about anything else. Gadget is the reason countless kids decided that intelligence and creativity were attractive qualities. She built everything that saved everyone, and she always looked slightly surprised when anyone was impressed. That combination turned out to be completely irresistible.
Golly! She just wants to control the valley so she can sell it off!
Number 4. Princess Ariel, Thundar the Barbarian, 1980. Before Disney's Ariel sang about wanting forks, there was another Ariel. Older, stranger, and considerably more dangerous. Thundar the Barbarian premiered in 1980 and dropped audiences into a post-apocalyptic Earth 2,000 years in the future, where magic and science had collapsed into something indistinguishable from each other. Princess Ariel was the team's sorceress, dark-haired, sharp-featured, and designed by comic book legend Alex Toth with an aesthetic that felt nothing like Saturday morning fare. Alex Toth, one of the greatest animation designers in history, reportedly pushed hard to make Ariel feel genuinely exotic and otherworldly rather than conventionally pretty. He wanted a look that felt ancient and modern simultaneously. And in her best moments, that's exactly what she delivered. Ariel from Thundar has been criminally overlooked for decades. Those who remember her vividly. She was the blueprint. She was 3 steps ahead. She always had been.
Thundar!
Number 3. Lady Amalthea, The Last Unicorn, 1982. Every character on this list is a character. Lady Amalthea is something closer to a feeling. The Last Unicorn is one of the most emotionally sophisticated animated films ever made, a meditation on mortality, identity, and what is lost when magic leaves the world. The unicorn at its center transforms into a human woman, Lady Amalthea, and in doing so, slowly begins to forget what she actually is. Her design was genuinely otherworldly: silver hair, pale features, eyes that held something ancient and sorrowful even when the character around them was confused and frightened. The animators understood something most don't. Beauty in animation can carry metaphysical weight that live action cannot. Lady Amalthea is beautiful in the way winter mornings are beautiful, in the way things you can't keep are beautiful. Casting magic. Mia Farrow voiced Lady Amalthea with a fragile, slightly bewildered quality that broke audiences without them fully understanding why. Author Peter S. Beagle, who wrote the original novel and the screenplay, has said Farrow captured the exact feeling of someone becoming human against their will. The confusion, the wonder, and the quiet terror of it all. Watching Lady Amalthea as a child, you didn't have the vocabulary for what you were feeling. You just knew it was the saddest thing you'd ever seen, and also somehow the most beautiful. The Last Unicorn taught a generation that cartoons were capable of making you ache. She was the proof. Number 2. Miria Parina, Robotech, 1985. Robotech came to American television in 1985 and quietly broke every rule about what cartoons were allowed to do. Characters died, real relationships developed across episodes, and in the middle of all that unprecedented ambition, Miria Parina arrived, the greatest fighter pilot in the entire Zentradi army, a warrior engineered purely for combat who had never experienced anything else. She was introduced as a villain and an assassin, hunting the human pilot who had bested her in battle, the first defeat of her life. Green hair worn with absolute authority, a uniform representing an entire military civilization, eyes that shifted from cold assessment to something warmer across the course of one season. Robotech was assembled from 3 unrelated Japanese anime series, edited together into one continuous story. Miria comes from Super Dimension Fortress Macross, where she's named Milia Felina. American producers actually deepened her emotional arc during the localization, making her love story with Max Sterling even more central to the whole series' emotional core. Miria Parina is why Robotech was never really about giant robots. She made it about what it means to become someone completely different from who you were made to be. And she did it looking absolutely incredible the entire time.
Just as yours caused you to be down in the Microdian Sea and made you an object for ridicule to all those whom you command, Chiron.
All right, hold on. Before we crown our number 1 80s icon, if you've made it this far, you clearly have excellent taste in cartoon history. Hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you never miss a countdown. And drop a comment right now. Who's your 80s cartoon crush? Number 1. Jerrica Benton, Jem and the Holograms, 1985. There was only ever one answer for me. There was never really any debate in my head. Jem was fantastic. Jem and the Holograms premiered in 1985 and delivered something the decade had never seen. A female-led animated series that was genuinely, unapologetically glamorous. One that centered women's careers, ambitions, and relationships without ever framing them as secondary to male storylines. And it had music. Real, fully produced, criminally catchy music running through its entire DNA like electricity. Jerrica Benton was the CEO of Starlight Music and the manager of a foster home. She also, through Synergy, the most sophisticated holographic AI ever hidden inside a pair of earrings, transformed into Jem, the most famous rock star in the world. Pink hair that defied every law of physics. Stage outfits that took glam rock and pushed it into pure animated fantasy. The kind of radiant, slightly unreal beauty that actual pop stars spend entire careers trying to manufacture. But what elevated Jem above every other character on this list was the dual identity at her core. Jerrica was real, competent, caring, overwhelmed, occasionally a mess. Jem was larger than life, magnetic, untouchable. The songs in Jem and the Holograms were composed by real musicians and produced to actual pop standards, not just cartoon filler tracks. The show employed songwriter Ford Kinder and producer Ann Bryant, who treated each song like a genuine release. That's why the music holds up. It was always real. The Misfits were better antagonists than most cartoons ever managed. The storylines were more emotionally sophisticated than adults gave them credit for. But at the center of all of it was Jem, or Jerrica, or the magnificent, complicated, absolutely iconic space between them. Truly outrageous, in every possible sense of the word. And there you have it, 10 animated legends from the 1980s who absolutely owned our Saturday mornings and refused to let go. From Vanessa Warfield's cold-blooded style to Jem's double-life glamour, these weren't just characters drawn to look good. They had depth, they had presence, they had the kind of energy that stays with you across decades. Do you agree with my rankings? Who would you have as number 1? And who else did I miss to add on this list? I will use your suggestion for a potential part 2 of this list. Hit that like button if this brought back something incredible. Subscribe if you haven't already, and remember, these characters shaped who we became. That's not nothing, that's everything.